Can you cook dinner with them and just make sure that they're getting good nutrition? Number two, can you provide a structure for exercise? Exercise together with them. There's some new research that shows that exercise is the most validated treatment for depression, period, bar none. Standing on the sidelines when a partner battles depression can feel like an incredibly helpless experience. And you're not alone if you really just don't know what to do to invest in your partner when they're feeling down and when they've felt down for weeks on end. So many spouses in the clinical office tell me they're just confused about what their role really is in their spouse's recovery process. So I'm going to give you some quick tips that will help you understand just how important your support really is. So I'm going to start with this. You can't cure your spouse's depression. You can't get rid of it. It is not your job, so get that off the table. Okay, that's not happening. But you can help and be a support on the road to recovery. So that's how you need to start to picture your role, is that you are literally a helpmate. So there's some specific things that you can do that will help you execute that role. Number one, you've got to learn about depression. You've got to educate yourself about what this disease actually looks like in real life. What people don't understand is that when individuals are depressed, sometimes they can have days on end that they feel pretty good. Sometimes, like 3 or 4 days, 5 days, they can feel okay. But man, like a lightning bolt, that depression will come back and they'll spend 2 weeks in misery. And so you need to understand that there's an ebb and flow to depression that is not always easy to understand if you're watching someone go through it. The second thing that you can do is literally just be there. Just be present. Often the best thing you can do for your spouse when they're dealing with depression is simply show up, walk out into the living room and say, I'm here. You don't have to have all the answers, but that's okay if you can just sit still, look at them in the eye, and listen. And the most important message you can send your spouse if they're down is this: we are going to get through this together. Me and you, one-on-one. I'm with you. Number three, create a supportive home environment. There's something that happens in the life of a person who's depressed that just saps their energy, and it makes them like low on energy and not able to sleep and not able to eat. Your job, if you're walking with this spouse, is to create a structure. Can you create a structure at home that helps them execute when they're having a hard time executing on their own? Things like this. Can you help them find healthy eating habits? Can you cook dinner with them and just make sure that they're getting good nutrition? Number two, can you provide a structure for exercise? Exercise together with them. There's some new research that shows that exercise is the most validated treatment for depression, period, bar none. More effective than therapy, more effective than medicine. Now, I know this is not good for business, but it's true. Exercise works. Help your spouse do that. Another thing you can do is help your partner stick with treatment. So a lot of people, what they do when they go to counseling is they'll start counseling, they start to feel a little bit better, and then they drop out. Don't let that happen. Hold them accountable. Drive them to the appointments. Sit in the waiting room while they're with their therapist. That just feels like they're not alone in the whole process. How about creating a low-stress environment? That's really important. That's an incredible environment that you can create in your home that will help them understand, okay, I'm super stressed out and overwhelmed, but I know that today I'm gonna, walk around the block, and tomorrow we're gonna go to a movie, and the next day we're gonna do things together that are gonna encourage healthy living and feeling better. And then finally, you can give positive reinforcement. This is really huge. When you feel hopeless and you feel like there's just no way forward, it feels really good to have someone look at you and say, hey, I see your progress. I see what you're doing. I know you're getting better. Give them specific examples of how you see them walking forward in their recovery. And then finally, and this might be one of the most important things, encourage treatment. Encourage people to find a good counselor that will allow them to work through these issues. We've got to crush the stigma of walking into a counselor's office and asking for help. The days of that have got to be over, because the truth and the reality of the situation is the counselor's office, that's where the healthy people are, right? It's the unhealthy people that are unwilling to go. So what I really want you to do is encourage your spouse to get with a good counselor who can do two things. Number one, teach them coping skills for how to deal with the symptoms, but then secondly, help them really dig down and understand the root cause of what's making them depressed in the first place.